G'day guys, thanks for checking out my Warlord Wednesday video. If you saw last Wednesday, I was talking about some new additions I added to my bolt action army that I wanted to get done for a game I was doing over the weekend. So this video is about that game I did. It's not a battle report because I didn't film the game, but I did take some pictures and I thought it was interesting, so I thought I'd show you the pictures, and while you're looking at the pictures, I could ramble on a bit about what I thought about the game and just in general. So, to give you a background, it was just a narrative scenario that we came up with on the fly. It was based on kind of like the Battle of the Bulge, if you like, but more in a summary setting, where the Americans had pushed further into Germany, much further than they should have, and left a lot of their supply behind. With that in mind, they stopped off. They took over a village and held firm at the village, waiting for support. The American support was too far behind for them to catch up, but the British were pretty close by, so they were coming to relieve the Americans. The Germans wanted to take advantage of this by pushing the Americans back out of the village and, catching them on the hop. So the battle is taking place in a village that the Americans took over called Domkop. That's made up, obviously. So that was the basic idea behind it. In game terms, what it was, as you might see on some of the photos of the table, the village was divided into two sections, like kind of two rows. So you had like a main road going through it with buildings on either side, of which the major buildings, i.e. the church, the tower, and the pub, were on the one side of the road, and they were the major buildings. We played lengthways across the table, and Bennett, who was playing the Germans, he had 1,500 points of Germans, which would all come up on the first turn. And then I had 750 points of Americans defending the village, and John would have had 750 points of British coming to relieve me. The victory points were one victory point you get for killing any unit, both sides. Every unit killed was a victory point. And then for the Allies, the front four buildings, they were the major buildings. So any ones in that front row that we controlled, they were worth 2 points at the end of the game. But any building in the village controlled by the Germans was worth 2 victory points. So that was kind of to represent that we needed to hold the front line to keep the Germans out, and the Germans were just trying to take the village back. It seemed fine at the time when we did that, and it worked out, I think, okay. Obviously, in bolt action, attacking a defended position is really, really tough. I mean, hence the reason why we decided to split the forces up, with the relieving force and so on. So as it turned out, in my initial thoughts when I was setting up defense, I chose a force that had mostly infantry, because they pushed up really far, no real armor support or artillery support or anything like that, just light weapons. So rifles, medium machine guns, and mortars, those type of things. And I bunkered them all down into the buildings and defensive positions and tried to get good firing lines throughout the table. And then basically see where Bennett comes on. And Bennett, being no mug, obviously didn't go straight down the middle through the road into my guns. He did kind of a refused flank where he hit hard on the one flank, on what was my left, his right, and had some support down the middle, and then very few down the left. In fact, hardly anything. And when the game started, I was thinking my usual tactics of sort of a counter punch. As he got closer, I would bombard him with much of my weaponry as I had, and then take the fight to him rather than letting him dominate proceedings. But within maybe an hour of the game, so we were halfway through the second turn, and the fear was starting to set in, as I was thinking, there's no way I can win this. This is crazy, and that was awesome because it just gave me that, because this was a narrative battle. It just gave me that feeling of what it must be like in a situation like that, because Bennett was bombing the crap out of me. I mean, artillery and howitzers and mortars and tanks, and my whole army was just pinned down. I couldn't do anything. I barely shot for most of the first half of the game. I think I maybe caused 2 casualties on Bennett throughout the first 4 or 5 turns. I would put a couple of pin markers here and there, but for the most part, every turn he would attack me, I would go down. and take loads of pins and loads of pins. And halfway through the game, my tactics changed completely to from where I was thinking more of an aggressive counter attack to just hold this position and wait for John to come. It was scary as hell. I mean, when the artillery hit and he got a big 11 inches hit, and it just put pin markers everywhere, and my infantry in the buildings were just getting attacked, especially on the left side, relentlessly by German assaults. Um, it worked kind of in my favor as well, a little bit, because Bennett didn't want to throw away his units willy-nilly, so he, did a more of a concerted effort to pin down and take casualties on units rather than just go for the kill and try and attack me headlong into defended positions. So he never really went for assaults. He just wanted mass fire on one position, and it was really, really cool. Completely different game to what we would normally play. For example, if you're doing like tournament play or match play, that type of thing, this was completely different to that. I mean, it was balls to the wall for me. I just sat there, hunkered into my bunkers and things, and just hoping that John's counter attack could relieve me and we could then turn the tide. And obviously, from Bennett's perspective, he was really pushing hard on one side to punch through and get John on the hop. And he almost did it as well. I mean, he got through with on the right flank. Kind of the tanks and stuff were just like, it was almost like close quarter assaults because he were right in between us. I mean, he was driving right past some of our infantry and things like that. So it was really cool. I'm not sure the photos show you all that, but we obviously got really excited as the game was going on and didn't take as many as probably we should have, but it was fantastic. It was a really, really good game. As it turned out, the Allies did hold the village, but only just. The game went on and some more people were turning up for some other games, so we called it around about turn 6 or 7. But I think the Germans actually had the upper hand. I mean, Bennett, at that time, we held all 3 positions. And the scores, I think we had killed 2 units and Bennett had done 4. But it was really, really tight. I mean, his units were pushing up hard, and I think he could take the church after repeated bombardments by the howitzers and mortars. That unit in there took so many pins. And even though the commanders tried to relieve them by coming on and taking out Bennett's commander and trying to, take off some of the pressure on that left flank, they were completely stuffed. And even my rangers in the middle, the rangers, man, they freaking lived up to their name, leading from the front, as they had that little wall position in front of the guard tower, or the town tower, and they got peppered repeatedly every turn. I don't think they fired a shot the whole game. Just every turn, either do a rally order or a down order or whatever. So it was really interesting. And the units on the right that were seeing no action, I pushed them up into the vineyard fields, trying to maybe give Bennett something else to think about. To give him that I'm flanking him now rather than him pushing in. But he didn't care. He just ignored them, focused on his objective to push through. And when John arrived on the road with his vehicles and stuff, Bennett's tanks were already taking aim, taking them out, slowing them down. It was a really good game. I really enjoyed it. And this is why I love Bolt Action so much. The system just is designed so well that you can get really good narrative battles out of them and almost feel like you're under pressure at every time. Every decision you make is really, really critical. And I'm really happy. I don't know what else to say. It was a really good battle report, and I'm really looking forward to playing some more. We also played around with some interesting pictures that you could see here, where John took some pictures of the game and then put them through this app, which created all these smoke effects and fire effects. They were awesome, really, really cool. I mean, most of the armies were all fully painted, so it looked really great. The terrain worked really well. I will say one thing, we've been playing quite a lot of battles where we have large villages and things like that. I think we want to move away from that for a bit and move on to some games where we're playing more on sort of just, not open terrain, but, so just less buildings in it, because assaulting positions in buildings and things like it can be really tough unless you determine your army to do that sort of thing. And also, of course, we want to add some more armor and stuff to the games as well. So there's so much scope to this game as well. And I'm really looking forward to getting some Conflict 47 going as well, because I mean, it's basically the same system, just with really cool alternate World War II stuff. So anyway, that was my birthday bash, the Battle of Domkop. And it was really, really good fun. I really enjoyed it a lot. And I want to thank Ben and John for coming down and playing and having everything going. And hopefully we'll get some more battle reports up for you guys so you can check that out and see what sort of games we're playing and how much fun it is. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys later.